Today I'm interviewing Styli Charalambous, publisher and CEO of the Daily Maverick. This week, the digital-only publication is launching a newspaper called Daily Maverick 168. So here we have Styli to tell us more about it and why they decided to innovate in this way, which seems a bit counterintuitive given recent closures or scaling down of local publishing houses and print divisions. So Styli, do you want to first introduce yourself and tell us a bit about the Daily Maverick's journey to this point?
Yeah, thanks, Jessica. So I'm Styli Charalambous, the CEO and publisher of Daily Maverick. I'm one of the co-founders along with Branko Brikic, and just over 10 years ago, we started Daily Maverick. And since then, it's been a very difficult and challenging roller coaster of a journey in the digital news media space, and in a very difficult time for South Africa and the industry globally that found itself facing a lot of disruption. And so in that time, we've been, sort of hustling to keep things going, figuring out different ways of keeping the doors open, doing business, changing revenue streams, bouncing around from one idea to the next experiment, trying to figure things out. And, after getting to a stage of making some really good progress in the digital space with our membership program, and figuring out a business model that felt sustainable and felt like it was turning the corner. We experienced massive amount of growth in our newsroom. We're one of the few newsrooms in the world that saw that kind of growth. We almost doubled in size in the last 2 years. And with that, we were always harboring an idea that, it's been kicking around for, I'd say, probably the last 5 years of our existence is, what are the best ways in which we can get our long form journalism into the hands of people who enjoy those kinds of long reads. And, print was always one of the avenues that we felt would be a good avenue for that and a good outlet for that. But the timing wasn't right. The business was in a difficult space. We're figuring out how to deal with this disruption from, almost every side, and the political challenges and economic challenges of being a digital news publisher in South Africa. And so it was kind of just parked there until, the timing and the environment and the market forces were right. And we decided that in the middle of a pandemic would be the right time to launch a newspaper.
Okay. And so do you want to first maybe tell us a bit about, your model? I know you introduced Maverick Insider about 2 years ago, but what has the response been to that? And do you still think it's a sustainable model given the current circumstances?
Yeah, so Maverick Insider, our membership program, is a cornerstone of almost every new product that we launch, whether that's editorial or business related product. And so we knew that once we got to a certain number of members, so people who support us financially or otherwise, and who are our most loyal and engaged fans, we knew that once we got to a certain number, we could do a lot of things with that. We just didn't know what exactly they were, and we knew that those opportunities would present themselves as we kind of worked through that. And so as we were getting closer to 10,000 members, we decided that off the back of our yearbook to our members, that wouldn't it be good to do a 10-year book, sharing the story of Daily Maverick as a way to our members. And from there we thought, okay, well, a book would be a great idea, and that evolved into starting a book publishing division, because we could pre-sell books to our members, we could take them along the journey, we could ask them what they would like to see in the book, and we had access to these people who were such huge fans and invested in our story and our success, that it literally changed the way that we operated, whether it was, as I said, launching new products, or thinking about things editorially and accessing the experts in that membership database. We just have so many different avenues available to us than we did before that. And building on from that, we knew that, 10,000 plus members, and we're sitting at about just under 12,500 members, and growing every month. We had our best month in April, and then I think May was our second best month, and now June is almost up to where April was. July is up to where April was. And so we're still seeing good growth, and we know that we can lean on those members for support, to help launch new products. And Daily Maverick 168, the weekly newspaper, is going to be one of those. We're going to go out to them. They're going to be the first people. They're the first people that we've told about this, this new revelation and this new idea and project that we had, and that we're going to need their support in order for it to be successful and sustainable. Except at this time, it's not going to cost them a cent, because the model is that Daily Maverick 168 will be available for free to all Pick and Pay Smart Shopper loyalty card holders. And so we know a lot of our readers do shop at Pick and Pay. It is the store where most of our readers do most of their shopping. It's an even spread, but convenience is a big factor in where people choose to do their shopping. And so we know that with that model, with that support, with people wanting to catch up on all the great articles that they missed out on just because we do so many in a week, and we're giving them this completed product, that on their next trip to the shop over the weekend, they can swipe their card and get a quality product at no cost to them.
Okay. And just based on my previous question, a lot of businesses and specifically publishers are having to rethink their business models. So you perhaps shed some light on the process of changing yours from a primarily ad-supported funding model to one that's membership-based?
Yeah, I mean, that's been an incremental and 2 year or 2 year plus experience for us, and it's kind of started with an idea off the back of a trip to the United States to have a look at what the big publishers there were doing, recognizing the gaps in our business in terms of skill sets and in terms of functions, and then having come back from that, we knew that we needed to do two things. We needed to invest in product as a function of the business, and we needed to get a reader revenue program going, and we knew that we didn't want to implement a paywall scheme. So we did a bit of research, and we found out that membership was starting to take off and be proven to be successful around the world. And we designed a model, and then sort of rolled out a minimum viable product in the form of recurring donations, and from there the success of that helped us inform a lot of the decisions that we made in designing the launch of the program. And as the program became more and more successful, we needed to recruit more people into that into that division. But it's one that has grown to become central to almost everything that we do, and it interacts daily with the business side, with the product side, with the technology side, with the marketing side, and with the editorial team as well. And we designed it like that if it was going to be successful, it couldn't just be this thing that sits on the side that is just viewed as a revenue generating program. We talk about the main objective of Maverick Insider is to build this community. And if we build that community successfully, the financial benefits will accrue, rather than putting the financial benefits at the top of the objective list for us. And so we know that, so we spend a lot of time and effort trying to maintain that personal touch, looking after our members, supporting them. We're building up a customer support team, handling queries. You've got 12,500 members with a range of benefits like ad-free browsing and commenting and access to events and newsletters and all those kinds of things. It's that community needs to be managed. And so we needed to recognize which skill gaps we had, and to either learn and develop those skills in-house, which we had to do for some of them, because these are new positions or new roles within news media, especially in South Africa. And so we had to do a lot of upskilling and training, and participating in a lot of workshops, and myself as well was personally putting myself in a lot of learning positions, and writing and engaging and figuring out how this could all work for us. And to the extent we worked a lot with the Membership Puzzle Project based in New York, and who have put out a lot of research and a lot of thinking, a lot of writing about membership. And so we've been one of their grantees for a while now, and we've been involved in coaching other membership programs and putting on membership workshops. So we're completely invested in membership as a particularly attractive and potentially successful solution to the sustainability problem that news media around the world have. And it fits our vision and our philosophy quite well. And so we've embraced it wholeheartedly, and it's become a big part of everything that we do.
So why do you think print is still relevant, or what is your strategy to ensure that it remains relevant?
Yeah, so I think it's easy to just look at the quarterly ABCs and see the almost 10% constant decline quarter on quarter across most of the paid for titles, and come to the conclusion that print's days are numbered. But I think we needed to look below the surface of those numbers, spot the trends that are maybe more applicable to a different model. And also look at the needs of our readers and what are they saying. And we looked at the free sheets, and the free sheets are still maintaining strong circulation numbers that are pretty flat after all these years, and so that was a clue for us. We also looked at the brand map survey of 30,000 digital consumers, probably the biggest consumer survey effort in the country. And with that, we saw that our readers and the readers of News24, the biggest news website in the country, 80% of those people surveyed still regularly read a newspaper. They just, didn't want to pay for stuff that didn't make the grade. And so that was almost 40% of people saying that they weren't paying for the newspaper. So there was still demand for the medium, but people were going, hang on a second, there's been a decline in the quality of these products. I'm not willing to pay for that. And so these were all clues for us in terms of figuring out a model that could work. And so with the discount, the 100% discount to Pick n Pay Smart Shopper customers, we addressed the cost option, putting it into grocery stores that they visit weekly, making it accessible, working with Pick n Pay as distribution partners and marketing launch partners meant that we could get support for this publication by speaking directly to people. And we're going to be asking people to vote on which store they would like us to launch with. So you vote for your local Pick n Pay store, the one that's closest, and we're going to tally up the votes before launch, and we're going to see which stores are the best ones for us, given all the votes and the logistics of getting into those stores. And in that process, we're going to ask people to register their vote, but also give us their email address so that we can communicate directly to them, and also figure out what is the demand per store. And that'll help us with planning. It'll help us with keep managing our printing and distribution costs and being really efficient. And then also using it as a way to get feedback from our readers. What was the content mix like this week? What was the overall rating? How likely are you to recommend this product to other people? And we'll be using those metrics to make sure that the standards that we've maintained in digital and that has, seen us grow to become one of the leading voices in news media in South Africa, and where we won many local and international awards, that we transfer that into a printed product that people can enjoy on the weekend for free, and will keep them busy for many hours. And with long form journalism, investigations, analysis, and opinions, and probably the best collection of cartoonists that South Africa has, all in one place. And so we know that if we can produce a quality product and make it free to most people, we've got a good chance of reversing the trend and the perception of perpetual decline in this market.
Okay. So would readers be able to subscribe to the paper?
At the moment, we're going to be launching with Pick n Pay exclusively to start and to get our circulation numbers up to 25,000, which we feel is a critical circulation number for a week. It certainly makes a statement that we come in at that number. We're going to gauge the demand from our readers. We're going to monitor the uptake and the number of copies that are swiped and recorded at the till points, and then we're going to work from there. It's going to be available. People can buy it through digital e-edition facilities for people who don't live in areas close to Pick n Pay or who live abroad. But at the moment, we're not going to be launching with a subscription to the home model. We're going to be finding other interesting ways and, working with online delivery options of grocery stores and hopefully get that into the mix. We're trying to figure out a new way of doing this that makes sense, that is efficient, and we don't want to be spending a lot of money on massive customer support operations, where we'd rather be using that budget to create the great content that is going to make an impact. And so we're designing this from scratch, but we're also designing it with a digital first approach with a very efficient and low cost base, low overhead model in mind.
Okay. And how would you briefly describe the paper? What can we expect? What can your readers expect?
Yeah, it's certainly going to be different looking to most newspapers. We've gone for a very magazine-y feel, lots of color, large visuals. We talk about making visual journalism a big part of this print product, and so we think of it as almost a funnel. As we think about our audience funnel and getting people into a certain stage of the reader experience with us, we're also looking at our digital properties as a funnel into the newspaper. And so it's going to be a combination of the biggest stories of the week. It's going to be a combination of new and fresh investigations and analysis that have never been published before. And it's going to have a rather complete, or almost complete, collection and breadth of stories from, the hard-hitting political investigations that we're known for, along with, business, life, food, opinions, cartoons, Sudoku, crosswords, and some shorts and short snippets as well. So we're viewing it as trying to offer readers a complete read for their weekend. We're obviously limited by the number of pages that make it economically viable to do so. But we're starting out with 40 pages, and we're going to be monitoring the support from advertisers and sponsors and readers who don't want to be overwhelmed with just too much. There's a certain element of gratification that comes from finishing something, and I think in the day of the endless scroll and the bottomless pit of social media and the empty calories of our digital media diets at the moment, we want to give people a quality experience that can both be finishable but still feel like there's quite a lot here to get through, and that can be shared with other members of the family in the different sections, and bring back a lot of that weekend reading, those habits that a lot of people in our research have mentioned that they miss, and so trying to put all of that into one edition, and something that we will launch with and start that we feel is good enough, but we'll continue to grow and evolve as we get feedback and as we get advertiser and sponsor support for.
Okay, well, I'm definitely excited to get my hands on it and see how it turns out. Based on the Daily Maverick's digital side, I know it will be a top quality read, and I think there's still most definitely a place for print and demand for it, as you said. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to its release, and I hope the launch goes so well and that it's a great success.
Thank you, Jessica. Yeah, we are looking at doing a pilot at the end of August. And if all goes well and the feedback and the process and the logistics works out, then hopefully by the end of September, we'll be launching. But, it is a crazy time, and, the best laid plans are often waylaid and hijacked by whatever reasons. But, the plan is to get it out around the end of September. But we are working hard to make that happen. And we have been encouraged by the extremely positive feedback that we've had from the dummy edition that we've circulated amongst various stakeholders and people in the industry, and friends and family and members. And but also mostly encouraged by the really positive feedback that we've been getting from young people. There's also this notion that young people don't read as much, or wouldn't be interested in a physical, tangible product. But I think we're all experiencing a bit of screen time overload. and a backlash against the screen. And I think that if we put, our belief is that, our assumption is that if we put a quality product in front of, almost any adult, that they'll appreciate a good read and that they'll spend that time with it. So we're really encouraged by that, and we're hoping that, we'll be able to serve a very wide audience with this product.
Great. Well, all the best. And thanks so much for your time.
Great. Thank you, Jessica.